All right, today we're going to dive into something, well, a little unusual. We're talking about using onion juice for hair growth. We're going to break down the claims, the science behind it, and the step-by-step process, all based on some really interesting source material.
So let's just get right to it. The big question on everyone's mind, can an onion, something you have in your kitchen right now, actually stop you from losing your hair? It sounds kind of out there, I know, but let's see what the claims are.
Now, if you're thinking, no way, you are not alone. In fact, our source material puts it perfectly. You should be skeptical. I mean, think about it. There are so many products and remedies out there that promise the world and just don't deliver. So let's dig in and see if this one is any different. And that brings us right here to our unlikely hero. We're going to explore why this everyday vegetable is being talked about as a game changer for your hair. Okay, before we go any further, let's address the elephant in the room, right? The smell. The source is pretty direct about this. The advice is simple, just shampoo your hair twice after you do the treatment, and that should take care of any lingering oniony scent. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get to the fun part, the science. What is it about an onion, of all things, that could possibly help with hair growth? Well, according to the source material, the main answer boils down to one powerful element, sulfur. Turns out, onions are absolutely packed with it, and sulfur is a huge deal when it comes to the structure of our hair. And here's the connection. Our hair is mostly made of a protein called keratin. And what's keratin made of? It's largely built on sulfur. So the whole idea is that by putting sulfur directly onto your scalp, you're basically feeding your hair the raw materials it needs to grow. Makes sense, right? But wait, it's not just about sulfur. Onions have another secret weapon, especially red onions. They contain a really high amount of a natural compound called quercetin. So what does this stuff do? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The source claims it works in 3 ways. First, it can help calm down autoimmune responses that can cause hair loss, like alopecia. Second, it could actually help boost growth hormones right at the follicle. And third, it's a great antimicrobial, which helps keep your scalp healthy and free from things like fungus or bad bacteria. Okay, so that's the why. Now let's get practical and move on to the how. Here's the basic recipe that's laid out. First things first, you don't want to just grab any old onion. The source is specific here. You want to use an organic red onion. And why? Because that's where you're going to get the highest concentration of that key compound we just talked about, quercetin. The process itself is actually pretty simple. You chop up the red onion, toss it in a blender to make a slurry, and then you strain all that pulp out with a cheesecloth so you're left with just the juice. From there, you just massage it into your damp hair and scalp, let it sit for about 30 to 60 minutes. A shower cap really helps here, and then you just rinse it out really well and shampoo twice. The recommendation is to do this whole thing a couple of times a week.
So does this stuff actually work? Well, the source points to a study from the Journal of Dermatology. They had one group use onion juice and another group just use tap water. And the results after 6 weeks were pretty staggering. Look at this. Almost 87% of the people using onion juice saw significant hair regrowth. Compare that to only 13% in the group using plain water. That's a huge difference.
But we're not done yet. If you want to take this to the next level, the source material also offers a couple of ways to supercharge this basic recipe to get even better results. The first upgrade couldn't be easier. All you have to do is add a little bit of rosemary oil into your onion juice. That's it, just 5 drops. Rosemary oil is known to be anti-inflammatory, and it can help increase circulation to the scalp, which is exactly what you want. And this isn't just a random suggestion. The source mentions a 2015 study that found rosemary oil, on its own, was just as effective as one of the leading medications for treating hair loss. Pretty impressive. Okay, now for the second upgrade. This one's a bit more advanced, but the idea is that it makes the whole mixture even more powerful. We're talking about fermenting the juice. So how do you do it? You just mix your fresh onion juice with some water, a teaspoon of sea salt, and a little bit of raw honey. Then you cover it up with a cheesecloth or even a coffee filter and just let it sit on your counter for 3 days. You'll start to see little bubbles, and that's how you know the magic is happening. But why go through all that trouble? Well, according to the source, there are 3 big reasons. The fermentation process actually enhances the quercetin. The good microbes in there create even more vitamins. And maybe most importantly, it lowers the pH of the mixture down to about 5, which is the perfect healthy level for your scalp. Finally, it's really important to remember that this isn't just about what you're putting on your hair. The source material really stresses that you need a holistic approach to see the best results. And that really boils down to 2 more crucial things. First, make sure you're getting enough vitamin D3, either from the sun or a supplement, because it's essential for your hair follicles. And second, of course, you need a nutrient-rich diet to build healthy hair from the inside out. So when you put it all together, the science, the steps, the studies, it all leads back to this one fascinating question. Could the future of hair care really be hiding in plain sight right there in your kitchen? It's definitely some food for thought.